It was a foul and dismal night. Just like this evening, the howling wind blew around the house. We are high here, we are on Bromwich Heath. There is no trees and we are high up on a hill. So when the weather is foul, it does blow around the house and does make some foul noises. The master and the mistress were away and we sat by the fire, passing around the posset, the warmed ale and spices to warm our hearts and our stomachs as we all felt a little nervous. There was something about this night that did not seem right. And then, in the darkness and the quiet, there was a knock at the door. Who could that be in the darkness on such a night? It was decided that I should go to the door as one of the older servants, having lived more than 40 winters. So I gently opened the door, and in front of me was a tall, strange-looking figure. I can't even recall his face, but he had a tall hat and a slightly ragged cloak, but it was difficult to tell because the rain and the wind had made it wet and bedraggled. His hair was long, as is the style, but it was grey and limp and wet by the rain. He pointed a finger at me as if to suggest he wanted to come in. I was a little reluctant to allow him into the house. What would Master Turton think? But then he said, "I am the witch finder. I am here to root out evil." Well, we have all tried to protect ourselves from the evils of spell casting and witchcraft. We have scraped the marks into the fireplaces and into the walls and the doors and the windows where witchcraft and spells might come in. We've buried the bottles full of urine and hair and nails by the hearths of the fire to stop witches coming into the house. And we've burnt taper marks into parts of the house and onto the furniture. We are all nervous that witches may be abound, but here on Bromwich Heath, who thought that one of them might be around our fireplace and be one of the servants? Who could think it? You could almost feel the nervousness. The witch finder came in, followed by two other characters in cloaks. He pointed a finger at one of the dairymaids, who immediately leapt to her feet. And then he pointed a finger at one of the other maids in the house. An old maid who'd been here even longer than I. She had lived more than 50 winters. Almost unheard of. The two cloaked characters walked forward towards the two women. The rest of us were stunned. These were people we knew. How did these witchfinders know where to find them and what they had done? Who had denounced them for witchcraft? What was going on? The rain continued to batter against the windows, and the wind howled around the house, and the fire spat and crackled, and the two women were led into one of the other rooms. Where we heard screams and yelps. Apparently they were poked and pricked with marks that were upon their face. and upon their necks. This tells if it please that they be witches. I've always known that the dairymaid kept a toad that she liked to keep, but I just thought she was interested in how it worked and what it did. But was this her familiar? Was this her companion in evil doing and spell casting? Only a few months ago, one of the master's cows did die, quite strangely. But the two women were led away. And eventually they were hanged. They were drawn up from the ground, and it took them 3, maybe 4 minutes to die as their feet kicked, as they gasped for air. Eventually, they remained hanging from one of the very few trees here on Bromwich Heath. But one is all you need to hang a witch. The household, we were stunned. What to do? We had a witch in our midst. All we could do was scrape more symbols, bury more witch bottles. But since that day, we have all noted that outside of the oak house there is always 2 crows, and they are always making such a noise and screaming and squawking. Sometimes there are other crows too, but there are always 2.